Yay. So you guys, I'm so excited to be here with you. Hi, Ryan, and hi, Katrina.
Hi, Hannah.
Good morning. And so what I'm going to do is make sure that I let people know that we are live and so that we can get some more people joining us here.
Okay.
Really good to see you, Andy. Hi, hi. Thanks for helping promote. That's LinkedIn Insights, Andy. Okay, so you all have some exciting stuff. Katrina, you were just traveling and speaking, right?
Yes, I've non-stop. It's been amazing and exhausting in equal measure. Really exciting stuff.
Great. Well, tell us a little bit more, because who is your audience? Who are you speaking to?
Mostly I'm speaking to HR and recruiters and what they call sources. So people who will help recruiters by digging into the internet to find potential job seekers and candidates. And I've been speaking in Sydney, Auckland, Copenhagen, Amsterdam, Dallas, and I've got Romania coming up and somewhere else. My head is in a spin.
That's awesome. That's great.
It's all about using social media to find people and recruit people.
So are you finding that there is a greater need/interest on behalf of recruiters, sources, HR to get more in the know on this stuff?
Definitely. Because it is of such benefit to them in the respect of being able to find people that are a better cultural fit, being able to get direct access to save costs, reduce the time to hire, increase referrals, and all of this. It goes on and on. So there are some companies doing it incredibly well, and of course there are some not doing it well. So, but it's exciting times. It's certainly growing, and the demand's growing massively, which is good.
I think it's not only good for companies, sourcers, recruiters, it's also great for job seekers too. And hopefully we can talk about some of that today.
Definitely.
And Ryan, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
I've only heard you to this point, so it's good to see you.
Ryan reached out to me a long time ago. It seems like a long time ago to do a podcast with him. And I love your podcasts. They're awesome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I have the privilege of having two guests on this blab with me today.
You didn't get a word in, as I said.
I tried.
And so, Ryan, a little bit about you. You're all about branding, personal branding.
Personal branding, specifically for career-minded professionals who are looking to elevate their authority and become known as an expert in their niche. Because we're all experts at something, and a lot of people just don't realize it, and they can do so much better for themselves if they take an active and intentional role of branding themselves, particularly online, which is a lot of what Katrina and I have talked about yet even this morning.
Yeah, definitely, because it's so I mean, even my recruiters need to have a great personal brand, but obviously the job seekers do as well. So we had a long chat. It's good fun.
Yeah, it's
I was actually having a conversation.
People, right?
I missed that.
No, I was just saying, I mean, it's the same thing as employer branding. It's just for individuals. We need to do the same as what companies are doing.
Yeah,
absolutely. So we're going to go for about half an hour here because I've got short attention span stuff, and I don't think a lot of people want to hang around a lot. So let's get right at it. I want to make sure that we answer 3 simple questions. 3, count them, right? The first one is, from each of your perspectives, right? What is it that job seekers absolutely have to know that they don't know right now?
You want me to start?
You
start. Yeah. Ladies first.
No, you go, Ryan.
Okay. Well, I mean, for me, they have to know that people are looking at their online profiles. Recruiters, potential employers, boyfriends, girlfriends, everybody is going to Google to search to find out more information about you, and they're deciding on what they find, whether they want to talk to you anymore. And so if you're not managing that online profile, Google will do it for you, and you can be missing out on opportunities. And so that's the message that I try to get across to people is you have to pay attention to what you're putting out online and what Google is saying about you.
Yeah. So he just stole mine. So, okay, what I would say though is not only has social media made it so exciting for companies to gain access to people directly, but job seekers can gain access to them. So not only do they need to have the awesome personal brand that Ryan was just talking about, and make sure, you know, what they're sharing follows social media etiquette, etc., but they can gain access. So, you know, we talked earlier and I was saying, you know, Hannah and I can connect on LinkedIn, but once we have, what do? Do I keep sending you messages, or do I go and find you across on Twitter where I can actually keep re-engaging with you and sharing your stuff and answering questions and becoming known, liked and trusted? So I can actually open doors that perhaps you can't see, in the respect of there are jobs that can be created because they actually like you and your skill set and you know, they trust you. So I think that is extremely exciting as well. So get your personal brand right, like Ryan said, but also engage and start chatting with people. It's exciting times.
Yeah, and that's how I met you, Katrina. I mean, we'd been following each other forever on Twitter. So
Imagine that.
I know.
But
All
yeah,
right.
I mean, it's cool. I've opened so many doors professionally through Twitter, particularly. And one of my closest friends here in London, again via Twitter, and actually a bit of a job search in that as well. So Kasia had been connecting with me from Poland, came to London. I brought her to a HR event. She became a friend. And then when another mate said, oh, I'm looking for an in-house recruiter, I went, Kasia's your person. Boom, she's in the job. So, and that was never advertised anywhere. So it's important to get on and start networking and open doors. Exciting times.
It is exciting times. Ryan.
Yes.
Next, personal branding means.
To me, personal branding is the intentional act of telling the world who you are and how you add value. Meaning, you know who you are, you know what you want to be found for, and you're letting people know this is how I add value to the world.
Do you think that can change over? Can it change over time?
Your brand? Absolutely. Yes. Yes, absolutely. In fact, one of the things that I always start people with when we talk about personal brands is, hold on a second. I'll try to turn that up. I don't know if this will work. But one of the things I try to talk about when I work with people on personal brands is they all want to go to, we'll say, the sexy stuff, which is, you know, set my LinkedIn profile up. Let's get my Twitter account set up, and let's, you know, all the social media things. And the vast majority of them don't even understand really about themselves and what they really want to do. And so they start out on social media and they don't have a plan. They don't have a strategy. They don't know where they want to go. And so I help them first understand who they are, what they naturally gravitate towards. And if they find information, so one of the exercises I have them do is send emails to people they call trusted advisors. And I have them ask those people, what do you think, when you think of me, what do you think about? And if they find out things in that is their brand today, that's not what they want it to be, then they can change it. But if they don't ask, they won't know. So yes, you can change it, but it's based on the assumption that you actually know what people think your brand is today.
Katrina, do you find that people are out of touch with what their brand is?
Yes. Yeah. I think what they don't understand is how easily that recruiters can join the dots. So I had a classic example this morning, and I was sharing it with Ryan earlier, where I looked at a profile of a HR person, let's say, I'll just say HR individual, who is currently open for opportunities. And actually her headline on LinkedIn says currently looking at opportunities, which I actually don't think you should. I think it reeks of desperation, but that's beside the point. And by using just one Chrome extension, I could click on her profile and see her Twitter. So from looking at this quite professional LinkedIn profile, suddenly I was looking at this incredibly unprofessional Twitter going, ew. Actually, now I'm concerned about you. So it's making sure that I think people today, one, they need to understand, look, you know, it's 2015. People are going to look at you online. So it's your responsibility. And there's enough press out there to say what goes wrong if you share a Facebook update or a Twitter update that you shouldn't. So, you know, take ownership of it. But they need to understand how easily recruiters can map across social networks now. There's a plethora of free tools available that they can use. just to go, okay, well, here's Hannah here and here's Hannah over here. And oh, well, here she is over here. It's like you can join the dots and you can see this full picture of people quite easily, which isn't necessarily good. And that's without Google. That's without even just Googling somebody.
Yeah.
Well, and so what can someone do? Like, are there little tricks, workaround that people can do if they don't want, like, I want to have a Twitter account, but I don't want everyone seeing it. What can I do?
If you really want a Twitter account that's just about your obsession and you're going to swear and carry on and share stuff that you don't want publicly known, just make it in some phantom name. Don't have one that's, Hannah Morgan, this is my professional self with an injection of personality.
Right.
But just, I mean, I do know people that do that who've got real split personality. They've got their professional life over here and they want to obsess about the soccer. So they do have a separate account. I personally couldn't be bothered. I just think, one's enough. But I just watch what I put out there, and I've been known to delete tweets and delete Facebook updates and stuff like that when I've got it wrong. Who hasn't? But it's just, if you really want to be misbehaving on social media, just make sure it can't be connected to you. Completely separate email address, particularly, and obviously name.
Yeah, I think the other thing people need to remember too is because of the agreement that Google and Twitter made earlier this year, your tweets now show up in a Google search and they're scrollable. You can sit there and click and you can go through the last, I don't know how many are there, but you can go through the last few tweets of somebody just by searching for their name. So you don't even have to go into Twitter now to look for people if you're doing a Google search.
That would have been quite embarrassing for me the other week when I was having a moan about Virgin Trains. Oops. Hadn't thought about that, Ryan. Might go and delete those tweets.
So, Ryan, what is your brand? What do you want to be known for?
So good question. And it's actually kind of refining as I go forward, but I do want to be known as the person who helps other people recognize and understand their brands so that they can put their best foot forward online. Because the reality is that with, the internet open 24 hours a day, you have to look good online now, even while you're asleep. Because opportunities could come, it's like Katrina, you're 6 or 7 hours ahead of me. You could be looking for a job and you could find me while I'm sleeping somewhere. And if my online profile doesn't reflect what I need it to see or what I want you to find, it could cost me an opportunity. And the sad part is I'll never know it.
So Andy asks, if we switched brand with identity, would people do a better job of presenting themselves?
Yeah, definitely. Or even reputation, like your personal reputation as well.
It's interesting. Todd Lowe Henry, who I had on the podcast, I don't know, 4 or 5 shows ago, he actually did a search for online branding and online reputation. And believe it or not, people search for the word reputation like 60 times more than they do online brand.
Yeah.
So
brand is such a marketing term. It's quite niche when you think about it. Whereas your reputation, everyone's like, oh my God, my reputation. And that can just be initially amongst your peers, let alone amongst what's going on online.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, so that's something to think about. I am trying to slowly turn my terminology around to reputation, but it's difficult because you see personal brand and branding everywhere.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to switch it, and I still mess it up today. I just did a minute ago, but
yeah, I
mean, that's really
what
you're doing is controlling the reputation online.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this earlier as well, and it's even different expressions across countries. So, I mean, I love the way that Americans love to go, it's candidate outreach. When you're sending an email to a potential candidate or you're picking up the phone to ring a candidate, and it's a call or an email. It's not candidate outreach. I told you the dog was going to come in. There's my personal brand going on behind me.
Which one?
Shut the door.
Which one, Lance?
He missed you while you were gone, Katrina.
Yeah, that's Lance. I think I could just...
Oh, there you go.
Look at that face.
He's like, oh, come on, mommy.
Mom, get off the phone. Yeah. Very professional here in Collier Central.
And so Andy's saying too that when we think of brand, we really think company, and reputation is just more human.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's take the buzzword out of it and just make it to something people understand. But what you're doing online is affecting your personal reputation. Easy. So
yeah, absolutely.
Feel the need to lock him out now.
Now everybody's staring at the dog now.
Yeah. He just yawned. Brilliant.
So what do you guys wish we could wave our magic wand, right?
Yeah.
What do you wish candidates knew?
Well, on top of the ones we talked about, I still go back to that direct approach. I still go back to that. They can get in touch. They can cut out the middleman. They can open doors that they can't see just by going, okay, let me do a search of the companies within my area, and let's get online and look at their employer brand, if we want to use that, what they're doing as a company. Have a look inside and go, oh, actually, that's the culture I want to work in, and approach them and start having a conversation with them. I think that's quite exciting, particularly for those that have been out of work for a while. They could really open some doors by just finding and going directly to companies and start becoming known, liked, and trusted. You don't want to pester. You don't want to just go, give me a job. Particularly if you think about social media being like the pub, you would never stand in the corner of the pub and go, give me a job. You kind of go up to Ryan and start a conversation with Ryan, say, hey, can I buy you a drink? Let's have a chat, and become trusted by him, and then look at going, oh, by the way, I need a job. Who do you know?
I think job boards ruined it. Because back in the day, job boards where you went and you said, I want this job, right? Yeah. But now we're using social and people are like, I want this job, but it doesn't work because that you need that beginning part first, that lead in.
On the other side as well, because obviously the side I work the most on is that social media recruitment side, but the recruiters keep thinking that social media is a job board as well, and they turn off candidates, which is a real shame because they don't understand their conversation platforms. Admittedly, I don't think LinkedIn is. I think LinkedIn's lost the plot, but your Twitters and your Facebooks and all of the other niche networks, they're conversation platforms to go and engage with. So the two sides, there's too many recruiters just spraying jobs out as well. So yeah, I think they've got to change that. We're here to converse.
Right. I think people need to realize going right into that, the gatekeepers, they're not there anymore. And so much has changed with job search, with the introduction of social media, that people can, as Katrina just said, you don't have to go to an ATS. You don't have to go to a job board, submit your resume, the spray and pray method anymore. And I think people don't know that, especially like I'm a Gen Xer. And so a lot of us have been in our roles for a long time. And I don't necessarily like the terms generations, but people identify with that. So I say it, but, I say that because when I got at my job, that's how you got a job. And there's a lot of people who are in my age group who haven't applied for a job in 6, 7, maybe 10 years. Yeah. And they just don't know how to look for a job anymore because they still think the gatekeepers are in place, and they're just, social media takes all that away and they're gone.
I mean, you're absolutely right. It has changed so much in the last 5 years. From that, I remember, like, I'm similar generation, but I refuse to be typecast. I remember going and purchasing the newspaper and looking on the Sunday in the adverts. Now it's you go to Google and you type in, I want X job in X location, and usually Indeed's at the top or something like that, one of the job board aggregators, and you go from there. We've got someone new. Andy's just popped in.
Hello.
I just let Andy in because he wanted to say something about stuff.
Hello, Stuff.
Stuff, yes. Well, firstly, hello, Hannah. I've been a huge fan of you and your work for a long, long time. Ryan, hello. Hello, Katrina.
Good morning.
You can expect, both of you, you can expect LinkedIn connection requests, potentially personalized. Very,
with the latest messaging system, have you seen how well they've hidden that?
Indeed.
It's there. It's just you've got to really look for it.
Yeah.
It's very annoying.
I wanted to fascinating discussion. I wanted to chime into what Ryan was just talking about, gatekeepers and them going away with social media. That's I couldn't agree more. But particularly in terms of Blab, there's always an additional step to get to engagement right on all of the other channels except Blab. Blab is immediate engagement. I mean, with Twitter, you have to follow, and then you have to tweet, and you have to then engage, and then to better understand that person. With LinkedIn, you have to send that connection request, hope that it gets accepted, and then again, you have to try and understand what makes that person tick. But with Blab, it's immediate. It's that there are no next steps. You engage straight away, even on chat. I have found more connections, more good connections since using Blab in the last 2 weeks than I have in the last 2 years. And I think, in the job seeker sense, it's an incredible resource. If you're willing to get out there and get stuck in, as the Brits would say.
How would you recommend, Andy, the job seeker using Blab to help them either become recognized as a subject matter expert, or even to be recognized by recruiters or potential job companies?
That's a great question. I think the other thing that's happening with Blab, Ryan, is that we're now seeing potential new influencers come up. Right, previously influencers they take the stage, they give a keynote, they give a presentation, and they're usually doing that on the back of a book. Right. They've already built up their content and their reputation to a significant level where they're invited to these things. But I think with something like Blab, you've got people who have perhaps been, writing content, perhaps not being noticed, and emerging thought leaders. I think in their particular space, it's a huge potential area for them to be known and to come up through the ranks, if you will. So in the job seeking sense, yeah, you can now tout your thought leadership stuff.
Andy, I think also part of what we're looking at too is because Blab and Periscope and all of them are newer platforms. It's easy to get noticed when you're an early adapter.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there's a hardcore on Blab. I'd say 50 to 100 folks who have dived in, with both feet, and they're ahead of the game, right? Because it takes a bit of time. It is hosting. It's all brand new. There are some technical difficulties, but frankly, not many. If you think about the fact that live streaming for people, no issues here. The whole thing is working fairly seamlessly, and these guys are so involved. The folks behind Blab will pop in, will monitor. You can type @help, and they're there for you. It's just unprecedented in terms of, let's call it customer service. That's what it is.
Actually, you know what I'm liking about it? So obviously we've been on the old Google Plus, which sadly is dying a death, but it was always out of sync. So I would tune in from here in London to you guys in the US, and I'd be like this and my hands would be elsewhere, and it was really disconcerting. So it was, I like the fact it's very efficient. Yeah. But I'm not sure how many companies would be thinking to get in here and engage. It'd be quite interesting to see whether they would get in and start chatting about what they're doing and using it from that employer branding to attract candidates, let alone the other way around.
I totally see companies using this to engage with prospects, candidates, don't you think?
They could, but I just think they might feel, some of them just feel overwhelmed with the plethora of places they can go already.
Yeah.
So it's making sure that they do it in such a way that you keep going. I know when Ryan and I were talking earlier, he mentioned YouTube, and I went, oh, because I know my YouTube channel's so out of date because I haven't updated it. I've got stuff to put on there, but it's that the companies feel like, oh God, there's yet another one. Oh God, which one do I focus on? So I think it's finding the right one. I do like the fact this is so easy though. It's quite quick to create content.
Yeah. I know a lot of podcasters who've started to adopt this instead of Skype, using Skype Recorder. So that way, because not only do you get the video, but you also can strip away the audio and create a podcast from it. So now you get two pieces of content for one recording.
That's really cool. Can I just say hello to Audra, who just popped up, by the way?
Yeah.
Hello, my little mate just popped up. I just want to go hi.
I think Skip raises a great question, and I don't know the answer to this. Is there a private mode for Blab? Like right now, it's out and we're live, but is there a way to make your Blab private?
Currently, no, and I don't foresee a private side of it. This has come up in previous town halls with the Blab folks, and they're not of a mind to do this because they don't want it to become another channel where you have these offline conversations. I think one of their strengths, as they see it, is the openness, that it's all open, right? It's all viewable. Yeah. Even the off the record stuff is still viewable. It can still be seen by absolutely anyone.
As Audra just said, though, you don't necessarily have to record it, though. So at least you can have one and then it's gone when we're gone.
But Katrina, that someone's always recording, right?
Ooh, Big Brother.
No, I mean,
No,
yeah.
Again, I was talking about this earlier and saying, you share something on the internet, and even though you delete it, someone's taken a screen grab of it, let alone recording it. So
Yeah.
no, very much so.
Everyone's recording it, but there are many options. For example, you could use Slack to have back channel discussions while the blab is going on. So
True.
that in effect becomes a private element to the blab. I'm conscious of the time, Hannah. I know you wanted to go for.
Yeah,
30
we've
minutes.
got about 5 more minutes. So thank you for coming in and joining, Andy. It was great having you here and great to really meet you.
Likewise. Pleasure, guys.
Thanks. Great. So, Ryan,
Yes.
we want to talk about what else job seekers need to know. Social media, personal branding isn't going away. What else?
I think it's only intensifying in the need to participate in it. And people who think that it's a fad are going to quickly be left behind, and they're going to be sitting around a year from now going, I don't understand why I'm not getting opportunities and why, I'm working hard, but I'm not being recognized for it. And, I hate, it's just kind of that age of self-promotion. I hate to use that term, but if you're not promoting yourself, who will? And the only other person that will is Google. And so you have to take charge of your online reputation if you want people to identify you with a specific topic or subject matter. I like to use the phrase, I want people to become the Google of their niche, meaning that instead of you going to Google to find out information about a particular topic, people come to you.
Yeah.
Because that's what we go to Google for anyway, is because we trust it, we know it, we like it, it's reliable, it gives us information. Well, why can't you be the Google for your subject matter? So people come to you. And when that happens, opportunities will start coming to you too.
That's very true.
A long time ago, and it feels like forever, like 3 years ago, I wrote this blog post about how everybody has to have some sort of familiarity with SEO, right? If you don't understand how SEO works, you don't need to know all the nitty gritty, but you have to understand the basics in order to understand this online visibility and this personal reputation stuff.
Yeah. You have to, more than anything else, you have to know what you want to be known for. So, because that gives you your keywords and the things that people are going to search for when they're looking for you, and you have to know that.
But as a warning on that, you also don't want to make your LinkedIn profile, for example, just keyword rich.
True.
You want to make sure that the benefit of what you did in that job is showing on that profile or that resume as well. But the other thing, I think, not only do you want to be able to express what you do, but in seconds. So I always talk about Twitter, which I love, the fact that people follow me and they've got about 6 seconds to get my attention before I'm going to follow them back or not. And it's that whole, is my bio complete? Does it have some quirkiness in it? Is there a great profile picture that I can see who you are? Are you sharing information that shows you know your subject? And it's like, you've got to give that to me in seconds or I won't follow you back. And of course, the follow back's where the magic happens to, really connect with people on social media. So there's that side as well.
Yeah. Since you mentioned pictures, I personally, so as someone who has a podcast and I'm looking for guests and I'm trying to find information about my guests, ask them questions. If they can use a consistent photo across all their platforms, it very quickly helps me understand, okay, I've got the right person.
Yeah. We talked about that earlier, didn't we, with the Google image search?
Yeah. If they're changing their profile picture all the time on all their different platforms, it's difficult for me as someone who does want to find information about them to know whether or not I actually have the right person.
Well, as I mentioned when I was chatting with Ryan earlier, one is, yes, you can do that Google image search to map across the social networks, but there are all these Chrome extensions, which will also do it via your email addresses that you're using, which will also help connect the dots. So I mentioned Discoverly, and then there were a few others that I've sent over, like Connect 6 and Connectifier and Profit. And there's lots that recruiters are using to find out a lot more about you as well.
Yeah,
so
looking at images all morning.
Yes. Images are a popularity contest. So if there is an image of you on Google that you do not want seen, click on all the ones you like, which is what Ryan is doing on the weekend. He's going to click on the ones he loves to hide the ones he doesn't.
That's right.
So it drops to page 2 where no one ever looks. So, yeah. Cool.
I'm gonna enlist my children to click on my pictures on Google all weekend.
Love it.
All right, so we've got about 2 minutes. What do you want to promote, Ryan? You've got a podcast coming up with somebody pretty cool, huh?
I do, yeah. In fact, so I have a podcast called The Brand New You. I've had 2 really great guests on. One was on before, who's you see in the top left-hand corner, and the other will be on next week. So Katrina and I just recorded earlier this morning, and so we will have a podcast come out next Thursday that will be all about social recruiting. So if you think you got some good tips in this, just wait till you listen to the podcast interview.
Yeah, a lot in there as well.
It's going to take me forever to write the show notes. There's so much good stuff in it.
I talk
but yeah.
fast.
So the Brand New You show, it's all about how to use personal branding, which I think I might now call personal reputation, and social media in order to enhance your careers.
And Katrina, what do you have coming up?
I've got loads more speaking coming up, which is very exciting. But yeah, just plenty of training going on. But they'll find plenty over on the blog as well. There's lots of job search tips on there. But also because my blog is actually aimed at recruiters, I think job seekers would find it quite fascinating because it'll give them that flip side that they're probably not realizing. So that's
absolutely. That's why I love sharing your stuff on Twitter, because it gives them that glimpse of, okay, this is what the recruiter is thinking. They need to understand that stuff.
Yeah, they need to understand how much the recruiters are delving. Hopefully they're doing it for the positive, to go, hey, we've got a bring dog to work policy. So, that'll get my attention. Whereas, if I said that to you, it probably wouldn't, Hannah. So it's using it positively, but also being aware, if you are showing the photos of you drunk in the gutter, you are going to lose a job.
Right. Katrina, is it winningimpressions.com?
Winningimpression.com. The idea is that job seekers make one winning impression.
Oh, thank you, Ryan.
No problem. What about you, Hannah? You can't get away. What do you have coming up? What are you working on?
I'm speaking actually at CDI Career Directors International not next week, the week after, the 15, 16, something like that, in sunny Orlando. I'm going to be talking about creating infographic resumes.
Oh, very cool. And do you then suggest they load them up onto SlideShare and things like that?
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much. What a treat. We should do this again.
Yeah, we should do this all the time. We can go hours in the day.
There you go.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Katrina.
Thanks, Hannah.
Thank you. Uh-oh, what just happened? I lost everything. Oh, well. Okay.
Do we just leave now, do we?